Yes. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. It is April 13th, and welcome to our Visionary Leaders Team Call. My name is Aisha Harley. I am one of the founding members of the Visionary Leaders, and it is an honor to welcome you today. We're super excited about our call, as always. I'm going to just do a few very quick announcements. So hang on, if you are new for the very first time, you definitely want to tune into this information. In fact, if you're new for the first time, please put a hello in on the chat and we welcome you. We have massive amounts of information for you. When you join our team, we have literally years and probably at this point, thousands of hours of education. So please check out our team website at hellovisionary.life. You will find essential oil education, education about growing a doTERRA business, also all of our community events and more. So we just want to make sure that you are aware of that website. You are on our weekly team call. It is every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The first 30 minutes is dedicated to essential oil education. And then the second 30 minutes, we talk about building a doTERRA business or creating some additional income. So today we have our team of leaders talking about the high impact oils, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. On April 20th, that's next week, we are going to talk about self-care tips. And so we are asking all of you to please come to the call with your favorite self-care secrets, because we would like this to be a community source call and we would like all of you to share your tips. And then on April 27th, we have our leader, Lindsay Bodo, and she's going to be talking about the aroma touch technique and how to, one, implement that into your life and into your family's life. But then also, if you are growing a doTERRA business, we will talk about how to use that to maximize your business. All of the recordings, if you need to see the recordings, are on our team website. And then I also want to make sure, if you have not done it already, to please opt in to our text alert. You'll see it on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. You can take a screenshot of that, and then you'll get reminders for all the calls. Here is kind of everything that we have at a glance. So we want to make sure that you know of all the offerings of our team. Every Monday, Lindsay Bodo and Nikki Dean host a work party. So this is a time that you can gather, do your doTERRA business, but do it with community. So you can ask questions, and it's just a really nice way to stay connected as we are all coming out of the Zoom world back into the real world, but I know that is slow for some. And then, of course, on Tuesdays at 5:30, we have our essential oil made easy class. And I will share with you on the next screen our teachers for that. But if you are new to doTERRA, if you have somebody that you want to introduce and you're not yet ready to teach a class, we offer this team-wide for anybody. All you have to do is register on the link and come join us. And then, of course, our community call every Wednesday. And then we highly recommend, if you are building a doTERRA business, to tap into the Empowered Success training calls. This last one was fantastic. You can watch the recordings. They are the first Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And put it on your calendar and make it a priority. It really helps to tap in to the bigger team resources to keep yourself inspired and also in the know. And then Ariana Harley leads our Oils A to Z call on the third Mondays of every month. And she leads that with Dr. Louise Rose, Dr. Mika, and Dr. Will Swan. And they do a deep dive into one essential oil, and they talk about it from a physical, spiritual, emotional, Chinese medicine perspective angle. So you get a really great deep dive into essential oils. Okay, we have our beautiful Haley Jones teaching next Tuesday. This is our Intra Oils class. And we also, if you are promoting these classes, if you look on the Essential Wellness page or the Visionary Leaders page, we are doing write-ups with photos about each presenter. And so we ask that you promote these classes on your social media pages. So you can grab that copy and post it on Instagram, post it on Facebook, and help get the word out for these awesome classes. And then on April 26th, we have Mandy Garber. And then we want to make sure that you are aware of our spring wellness education series. And next week, we will be talking about essential skincare with Asha McLaughlin. You can also take a screenshot of these classes, and then you also need to register at Eventbrite. But these calls and events are really informative, continuing education. So again, if you're new to doTERRA or you want a deeper understanding of how to use all of our products, we highly recommend tuning into these events. And we have this time, which is a Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. It's early for those on the West Coast, but it's a great time for those in Central and East Coast time. And then we also have our Butterfly Collective team offering the same series on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you can tune in to either event and or promote whatever event makes the most sense for your audience and time zone. Okay, raise your hand if you're joining us in Salt Lake City. We really hope that all of you will be joining us. Tickets go on sale on May 18th. Right now, doTERRA is letting us know that this event will only be live. That may change, but we don't really know. And we are definitely planning a really special team event. We cannot wait to see all of you, hug all of you, share with all of you, connect with all of you. So we are really, really hoping that all of you will make it a priority to join. If you start planning now, you can start saving, connecting, making plans, and we are looking forward to seeing you in Salt Lake City this year. Okay, so I'm going to pass the floor on to Ariana. Today we are talking about the power of co-impact sourcing and really what sets doTERRA apart, the kind of the what and the why. We really want to make sure that you have a deeper understanding of what makes this company so incredibly special. And for me personally, really aligns with all of my values. And I am so grateful to be aligned with a company that I feel so good about the way that we're doing business. So Ariana, will you give us a little deeper dive into co-impact sourcing?
Sure thing. So we know that as humans, we react to things emotionally. And I agree with Aisha. This is a huge, huge why. It's so close to my heart. And so, when I grew up, a lot of companies' sole purpose was only to make money. And there's been, as we know, a lot of horrific practices that have hurt our earth and people to make a buck, right? And so when I educate about oils and when I talk about oils, I really love to talk about what doTERRA is doing and the difference they're making globally. For people who aren't familiar, something that I do is I say that our co-impact sourcing, which I'm going to explain to you, is similar to fair trade, because a lot of people are more familiar with the term fair trade. And so I printed out what doTERRA said because it was just the languaging was so perfect. So doTERRA is committed to making a positive difference in the lives of farmers, harvesters, and distillers who contribute to our oil production. And what co-impact sourcing is doing is it's ensuring that small-scale farmers and the harvesters as well, and many of these areas are disadvantaged, very poor areas. And it's a place where many people have been taking advantage of these peoples. So doTERRA has partnered and said, we are committed to treating our farmers and our harvesters ethically. We have introduced an initiative called Co-Impact Sourcing. And in short, co-impact sourcing creates shared value for all stakeholders in the supply chain by being at the source of an intentionally excuse me, by being at the source and intentionally implementing environmental stewardship and or social impact initiatives. And so you can go on and read, their, it's a little bit lengthy of their description, but really when I talk to people, I love to share that people, many of the people who are farmers and harvesters are encouraged to create co-ops. And instead of coming in and telling people what to do, there's a beautiful videos of doTERRA working in Haiti, working in different countries, and really listening to the communities, listening to the farmers, listening to people who've had generational experiences, like some farms are 5th generation or 3rd generation. So many of these people have long time experience with the plants in the area. And so doTERRA is working side by side in this partnership, which is really profound. And then also there is a partnership we'll talk about, but with Healing Hands. So the co-impact sourcing is one part of this equation. And then the Healing Hands Foundation is coming in, and that's the charitable organization that is working to create schools and provide water, or really work with the community and say, how can we work with you and provide things so that you can thrive and prosper? And when, in our company, when one area thrives and prospers, it just extends out to all of us. And so you can go ahead and switch the slide. Oh, do we have, and then this is me and my sister, and we went to Bulgaria on a Healing Hands trip. It was right before the pandemic. And if you have the opportunity, I highly, highly suggest going. I love this gentleman. I'm not good with names. I forgot his name, but he was just such a sweetheart. And he was running the Esotery farm in Bulgaria. We were watching lavender be distilled that day. And oh, if I could take you there, the people, the farmers, the love, the caring for the plants. It was so, so beautiful to experience. And then on the right is a picture of me. And that was one of our service days where we were working in Bulgaria for Healing Hands project. And so I just feel like this is so, so much the heart of doTERRA. And then these oils are so healing because we know the people picking them, producing them, growing them, distilling them, all along the supply chain. It's just like this beautiful circle of love that is just happening, which I believe even expands the healing impact of our oils.
Should I move forward to our video?
Oh yeah, and then we have this video.
Okay. One thing I want to share before we move to the video is that in the essential oil industry, the FDA does not regulate, as many of you know, essential oils and the marketing of essential oils. And so the majority of essential oils that are on the market are basically coming from the same distributors who are taking advantage of the growers. They receive the essential oils. That's oftentimes when they get adulterated to ultimately make more money from them. And that's when stuff gets put in them that you don't want on your body, in your body, around your body, in your home. And then they get put out into the marketplace. A label gets slapped on that. They're not tested. They might say pure, they might say natural, they might say safe, they might say all of these things, but it actually means nothing. And so it's really important to know how truly important this is. And on the back end, a farmer is being exploited and not paid on time. And so it's just perpetuating something that I think that none of us really want to be a part of. And that's where doTERRA is completely transparent in their growing practices and they're really doing so much good in the world. So when you're using a bottle of tea tree at home, you are supporting somebody's family. You are supporting the betterment of the world, of the healing of the earth, the healing of communities on a massive global scale. So that,
And sorry to interrupt you, Aisha, but on that note too, not only are you supporting someone's family, but oftentimes you're providing income so that someone in Nepal's daughter isn't going into sex slavery because they can actually stay at home and have enough money for food. And so the profound impacts that we are making, I know there was a story about cardamom where the cardamom pods mold within 3 days. And a lot of these places where the farmers are so remote that, you know, the middlemen come in and they say, well, we are going to pay you, you know, 50% less than we offered originally for your cardamom pods. And the farmer is put in this really precarious position because if they don't take the money, they will just lose everything. And so it's just a really abusive cycle that people are taken advantage of in so many different ways. And so I just wanted to point that out too. It's supporting communities and families, but it's also breaking abusive cycles in our world that is so profound.
So we're going to share this video. So if you have not been to the source2u website, we recommend that you check that out. This is Tea Tree. We're going to share a little video with you, and Josie's going to talk a little bit more about this, but it will talk about, give you more information. So I'm just going to scroll down and I'm going to play this video. I cannot enlarge this, just so you know, I cannot do a full screen. So hopefully, can you all see that okay? And I'm hoping the sound will come through. So let me know if everything's coming clearly.
Let me introduce this video for a sec. So part of this call is to give, thank you both, you know, Ariana and Aisha, for really laying that foundation of what co-impact sourcing and healing hands and all of this, all that goes in to our oils, right? In this background, this is what this call is about. And we really want people to start to go to this site. It's just source2u.com and look at it. This video is just one of many. And we chose it because we felt like it has the best, it says the most in the video. But please go to the website and click on the different, I'm going to talk about these impact oils, and there are videos to the first, it's like 11 or so. And it's so profound, these stories and the different information that is in them. So let's play this video, but know that there are many other videos about different oils.
It's very much surprising because the poverty level here before was really, really bad. Whenever I come here, I see everybody's very busy doing something to earn his or her bread. So you're investing in this area has actually changed the lifestyle.
We identified Kenya as one part of the world where amazing plants were grown. And we identified Kenya as a place where we could really make a difference and get amazing oils. I was recently with a grower in Kenya where they were with their first harvest of their crop. And we talked to them and said, you know, how excited are you? And they said, you know, in our small land we have grown for years, we've never had a cash crop, a crop where we're actually paid right as it was harvested.
So this is a Bluetooth scale that's portable and goes out into the fields, and it links up with the field officer's mobile phone. They'll weigh the tea tree or the ginger, whatever it is, and it registers immediately on the phone. Then Lydia will hit payment. That transaction is recorded in the farmer's account, and then those funds are transferred to the farmer's mobile phone.
Within 24 hours.
Within 24 hours, yeah. We're pushing for instantaneous, and we'll get there pretty soon.
Right.
We're at 24 hours right now.
What makes it so good for me when I can do
a small thing that would change somebody's life. Like tomorrow I have these people, they cannot go begging. They can take their children to school. Because of one day I came and visited and spent 5 minutes to explain something, it makes the whole difference.
This geranium was planted, and now cuttings are taken from this and then made and put and planted, and then seedlings will grow from that. And the seedlings are then provided to the farmers.
I mean, the financial kind of inputs required to plant something like this all up front would be really challenging. So we've been really lucky to create a revolving credit fund, which allows farmers to buy all of these seedlings on credit. That balance is deducted over the course of a number of different harvests. So they're paying it off over time, which allows farmers to jump into a project like this, which would otherwise be very difficult to do.
It is too difficult for the farmer to get the crop.
So they've been growing it for the last 6 months. This is their first harvest. They planted in February this year.
We're really focused on building systems that put farmers first, providing them all the support structure that they need to succeed as a smallholder farmer of essential oil crops. We've got field officers who spend every day in the field, visiting with farmers, giving them support, offering advice, helping farmers harvest their crops, weighing it on site, paying for it in a quick and timely manner, and then bringing it here to the distillery where it can be processed and distilled into essential oils.
We could work with commercial farmers in developed nations and produce wonderful plants, wonderful oils from these plants, but we wouldn't be doing as much good in the world. And for us, we're always looking at how can we impact the world in a positive way. And so we have chosen primarily to work through small-scale farmers wherever we go around the world.
If we grow that 5 times or 10 times, does that fulfill your dream?
You'll have fulfilled my dream and the dream of everybody else. I can see the small children going to schooling and acquire knowledge. It's a God given, you know. God has actually listened to their cry, and these people will be self-dependent. That's what we are praying.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me return back. So Joe C, I'm going to okay. Okay, Miss Josie.
All right. We're going to transition this call. You know, this subject spans everybody, the customers, people who share, people who build and work with the business. And so I'm going to start working now in the conversation, and we're going to have 3 of our leaders join us in a little bit, you know, about how we talk about the impact oils and co-impact sourcing as we are just talking about doTERRA, sharing whether you are a customer and you're someone who's living this lifestyle and you want to talk to your friends and family about why you choose doTERRA, or whether you're sharing it or whether you're working and making income as well. How do we talk about this better? And one of the things that came up we just had our leadership retreat was this idea that these oils, you can take a screen capture here, but these top, I haven't counted them. Does anyone know how many of these are here in a sense? Count them. These are the top oils that they're calling the impact oils. And what that means is that these oils, and these include the top 10, these oils make the most impact in how they're grown, how we're working with them in the lives of along the whole chain of all the farmers and the people growing and supporting and distilling them. So that's this idea around the impact oils. And so we have all of these oils. And so when you are purchasing and using these oils, these are the ones that are making the most difference in our world, with our land and our environment, our people, our growers, our farmers, everyone. So that's the idea of like, hey, if you want to kind of have that slant and talk about them, that is a great message to be putting out. Let's go to the next slide, where it's like, even within this, if you want to focus, these are the top 10 highest impact oils. So we're going to be giving a couple, we have some people sharing about how they talk about them. I wanted to highlight a few things that they highlighted at Leadership before we go into our other shared stories. And so you can take a screen capture as this, as well as the top impact oils. And then I just have these two slides. I wanted to give an example of what we mean about, how can you take some of the information that is on the website, so on the co-impact sourcing and these impact oils, in that we're going to show you the key code and how you can get to some of this information. What would you say to someone? So what they told us at Leadership, one big thing was, besides this concept of these impact oils, was that doTERRA's projection over the next 10 years is to triple our impact. So triple our sales of these oils. And in so doing, we are tripling the impact they are having along the whole sourcing. Do you have those? Let's start with that. Yeah, the tea tree, and then there's ginger. So here's examples of, sometimes it's good to like write down or take a couple stats that you can speak to. And so here are some just interesting statistics that go to this idea of, there's the tripling of what doTERRA's mission is, like as you're supporting and working with this company and using these oils, you are helping to achieve that mission. That's something you can speak about. Going from the sales and tripling that. I like to look at the number of farmers impacted. So even if we take out this idea, so that's one concept that you could work with, about this idea that that's what's happening now, and you're a part of that. When you are purchasing, when you're using tea tree, you are helping to triple the impact of these farmers. There's about 900 farmers, and then we're going to triple that. But look at this statistic: average profit increase with doTERRA 4.5 times. What does that mean? That means that these farmers, from what they used to grow, or what they were like a subsistence crop, usually it's like a food one, like rice or something, they're having a 4.5 times increase of profit growing tea tree oil for their families. So this means that basically their lifestyle, their gross income, their annual income is 4.5 times more when they are growing tea tree for doTERRA. So imagine that you could then triple that for them. But even the fact that you are supporting and using tea tree oil is helping these farmers to have 4.5 more times of an annual income. Many times that makes the difference, as I think someone shared, between them being able to send their children to school or not, right? Whether their children have to stay home and work and help with the farming, or whether they can go to school. Like that's one discernible difference right there. And then if you look at ginger, the next slide, it's 9 times more. So we don't have that stat for all of the oils, but one thing you can do, so here's what I do as a doctor. A lot of the times we read things and then you extrapolate and you use the best information you have when you are sharing with someone. So I could say to someone, when you're using one of these impact oils, you are helping any one of the farmers who have partnered with doTERRA to impact their lives from 4.5 to 9 times more in their income. And a lot of times what that means is that they can send their children to school when they couldn't before. Right? There's a statement right there that's very impactful that can bring home what we mean when we're talking about this whole concept. So I wanted to highlight some of, these and how I look at a slide like this and some of this information, and then take it into myself and then bring it into a statement I can make when I'm talking to someone and trying to bring home that concept just kind of simply as I'm sharing my, oil experience with them. So let's move on. We have some wonderful guests. I know Aisha's going to show you this right here, right? Okay, we have this.
Yes. I just want to,
what do they call it?
what's that?
Nothing.
Okay. My dogs were having a moment here, so hopefully they've settled down. So we're gonna kind of move more into the business portion of this call, but it's kind of an organic transition because we're really going to be talking more about the same. We're just going to talk about how you might then share when you're talking to people that are new to doTERRA about this concept. And we have 3 leaders that are going to share some of their takeaways, what inspires them, and how they would share. Hey, Pluto, sorry. So I just want to share this one slide. If you look at the QR code there, you could take a screenshot of this. This will take you to a site on doTERRA that will give you visual imagery that you can use if you wanted to use it on social media, if you wanted to use it in a newsletter, etc. So Josie, why don't you introduce our next guest?
Okay,
I'm
I will.
going to mute myself.
Yeah, that key code is just taking you to kind of shareable stuff for social media and everything. Those stories, the videos, it's on the source to use site. So for, just kind of grounding yourself and taking an hour or so to peruse and really like sink into that website and those pages, it's transformative when you do that, when you just like give yourself that time. Okay, so I would like to first bring on Tania Mustaine and to share with us kind of what inspires her about co-impact sourcing. How does she share it with people in her when she is working and sharing, and what she wanted to tell us about.
So when I share about doTERRA's co-impact sourcing and what inspires me, I usually share my story. And, it inspires me, co-impact sourcing, because I didn't believe that pure essential oils were possible, because I didn't think that there was a company on this planet that would put purity and people above profit, until doTERRA found me. And I say they found me because I was invited to a class like most of you were. And, it really changed my life. And once I learned that doTERRA sources from around the world, where these plants, these trees, these flowers, these seeds, where they originate from is where they thrive. They're not farms that are local where maybe, nutrients are depleted in these trees and such, right? It's where they thrive. So that was very impressive to me. And, doTERRA cares in a big way about people they interact with, these farmers, distillers, this system, right? And the co-impact sourcing model is how doTERRA taps into this global market in these developing countries that need help. And they do it sustainably and ethically, which really, it touches my heart to see these sourcing stories. So I share these stories, I share these videos, and it really is beautiful because Ariana, Josie, and Aisha were sharing that it creates jobs in rural areas. They share collective benefits with these people they work with. They provide fair and on-time payments when before they had to deal with a middleman, a broker who would inevitably cheat them. So social impact projects like building schools, water systems, medical clinics, and we as members and advocates of doTERRA, or you as a potential member, can impact people's lives in such beautiful ways. And then we get impacted by these oils that they source, like Copaiba is just, it's absolutely amazing. It's so special how, it's sourced from Brazil. And it has this main constituent called beta-caryophyllene. And there are many, but that one in particular is super special because it really helps the body sustain a normal inflammatory response. And why is that important to you? Well, you know, inflammation is at the core of all disease, right? So your pain points will be addressed by this amazing oil. And, you know, the pain points that you've been sharing can be used, this oil can be used topically, aromatically, and internally. So all three ways. I use it under my tongue every night for help with sleep, with tension and anxious feelings, and also in moisturizer. So it's not a one-trick pony, right? It's not one oil, you get one benefit. So it's beautiful, beautiful ways to help your body heal. Thanks, Josie.
Oh, wow. I loved hearing you speak, Tania. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Did you guys feel that as she was talking? I loved how you put it in the, whatever, the first, you know, as you were talking to somebody, because I was just kind of taking it in and being like, oh, I want some of that. Like, that's amazing. You know, I want to be part of that. So yeah, thank you. Okay.
I want to just add something really quick.
Yeah.
Because many of us on this call have heard these stories, right? So it's easy to just kind of like, yeah, I know this information. But I really ask is these leaders share for you to take in the information as if you're hearing it for the first time and really see how does that land and how does that feel and how does that impact you? So you can actually remind yourself of truly how powerful this is. So, okay, Josie, go ahead and introduce our next speaker.
Yeah. All right. So we have Soraya Vajani with us, and she is going to just unmute yourself, Soraya. She's going to do her share.
Hi, everybody. So nice to be here and share with you. I wanted to share a little bit about turmeric oil. And many times I talk about turmeric because I've had this like love or hate relationship ever since I was a little baby. In Indian culture, turmeric is used in a lot of food and spices, but it's also always been used as something to help heal the body because it helps with inflammation. And growing up, whenever we had a sore throat, my mom or my grandmother would take fresh turmeric, which I always have in my house, fresh turmeric and some honey, or put turmeric in milk to soothe your throat. And then as I grew up and I would have aches and pains or falls from playing soccer or different things, they would make a paste with flour and turmeric and put it all over my body. And I would have these yellow patches on my body because the, turmeric is yellow and it can be staining. And so I've had this love-hate relationship, but it's really just in fun. But what I love is that turmeric has been in my life even before I knew how powerful turmeric is. And when I learned about doTERRA and co-impact sourcing and learning that they not only create a pure product, but they're actually working locally with farmers to sustain a lifestyle for them and their family, it makes me think so much more about why I use this for myself and my child. And to make me also think about like my history and my heritage, having Indian descent, knowing that turmeric comes from India and Nepal, knowing that many of our products come from places that all of our forefathers have been, right? Our ancestors worked the lands at some point in history. And so we're all connected as humans to this, to the way that we farm the earth. And for me to think that all of us can have a direct impact on someone's lives, what I learned about turmeric and doTERRA is that they worked with a family in Nepal. And initially he took a chance to support his family by leasing some land, and he used 600 kilograms of seed to grow turmeric on 1 acre of land. 5 years later, he now uses 5 acres and uses 8,000 kilograms of seeds. And he has increased his ability to produce by 40%. And he shared also that with Healing Hands, when doTERRA created that partnership through Healing Hands, they were able to supply 30,000 feminine products to females that would otherwise not have the opportunity to even bring that way of thinking to have safety in their life as a female. And so when I use this now, it's all love. and I use it daily, whether it's the turmeric dual caps or the oil itself. And I even tell my daughter about how important it is for us to use this, but for us to share this because it's helping other people in the world. And I choke up.
I'm not crying.
Josie,
You're crying.
You needed this.
I'm gushing. I'm like, thank you, Soraya. I love hearing, don't you, how everyone is speaking from their heart and how we all speak about this, this is the real deal. And it brings that extra piece. We have to educate about why people should use these oils, or for medicine. But for most people, that's, kind of awesome and exciting. But bringing into how they are relating with something they're purchasing and a medicine they are taking, a natural thing, and how that is then relating into the world, it just takes it to this whole other place for all of us, right? So thank you, Soraya, for sharing. And we have our last leader, but we might have some time. I wasn't sure how long everything would go, so I was like, I don't know, Sandra, we might not have time, but yay, we have time for Sandra and maybe some more, so other people can think of some shares. So let's bring on Sandra Freeman, and she has some beautiful words I think she's going to share about Wild Orange.
Yes, I have maybe 3 slides. I'm gonna go there. I'm going to talk about Wild Orange, and this part is very emotional for me about what I have experienced on a more personal level about being connected to the source of my food. Because for over 44 years, I lived in a town that had the most epic farmers market. And it was so much more than going and getting the vegetables I wanted or the strawberries, grocery shopping kind of thing, because I had a relationship with the farmers. And I came to, and it's the most epic farmers market I've ever, it was when I moved, which was a few years ago. I had such an experience of loss, not being connected to the farmers anymore. So this aspect of co-impact sourcing, I want to talk about in a later, the value of it is almost like you can't, so that's on a personal level for me, but doTERRA is doing this on a huge level. And it's almost like I don't know how to communicate it or express it, but I hope that I am. Just a bit about Wild Orange. I decided to figure out, so this is one of the high impact. When Josie showed the screen with the 10, Wild Orange is in the top 10 of the 26. And I decided to go through the website and figure out every single blender product that has Wild Orange in it. And I'm going to read that. I probably missed some, but here we go. So first of all, it's available as a single oil, and it's marvelous and wonderful for many things. I want to point out that it is one of the 8 oils in AromaTouch, which is a profound thing. It's in Citrus Bliss, Citrus Bloom, On Guard, Protective Blend. So therefore, literally every product in the On Guard product line that has this blend in it has Wild Orange, which is a huge amount of products. Adaptive Blend, Malama, Cheer, Those are blends. Both steps of the Reveal skincare system have wild orange in them. Holiday Joy. The children's blend Brave. Hygge, I think I'm pronouncing it the right way, Cozy Blend. The exfoliating body scrub, the replenishing body butter, the Virage cleanser, HD clear foaming face wash, doTERRA spa protecting shampoo, doTERRA leave-in conditioner, and the Kali India inspired personal aroma all have wild orange in them. So this slide is just about my taking this very heartfelt connection to quality of life as a result of knowing the farmers for all those years and knowing their practices, knowing what their lives were like, the pride they took in what they were producing, etc. When I look at the sourcing principles, I see by people supporting the farmers market, therefore us supporting the farmers and the sustainable way things are grown in the co-impact sourcing program. Environmental stewardship is in there. And also they always talk, Tim Valentiner always talks about sustaining long-term partnerships, how crucial this is to these initiatives. They're not moving around. There's many reasons for that. So I just wanted to put this on briefly, and I'm going to finish this up with I want to describe this one project in Brazil. It's just one example of the many Healing Hands projects. Ariana mentioned earlier that this is one of the principles, facilitating community development. It's the charity part of this, and it's super important. And so wild orange comes from Greece and Brazil, and this has to do with Brazil. So, and this was just in December. This was just Healing Hands provided funding to a school in southern Brazil to create a small but adequate kitchen and cafeteria building. This frees up a classroom for kids grades 6 to 9 to not have to go 3.5 miles away from the school to go to school. So it frees up a classroom. And also I found out, I'm looking at my notes from this, many of the kids in the school, this is probably the only meal they get in their day. So having the cafeteria, it's not just like, oh, it's nice, there's a cafeteria. It's way more than that. And also, this is the most disadvantaged and resource poor school in the city. 173 children from 500 families attend this school, where they receive a meal, usually the only meal they will eat all day because of economic hardship. So it just points to the bigger picture of education being such a key for women, but for everyone to be able to have better lives. And doTERRA's always focused on this level of empowerment that I can see in all of their projects. And that is it. I'm going to unshare.
Thank you, Sandra. Oh, there's just, right? There's so much in there. So much in Wild Orange. It's everywhere in all of our blends and in the website. And when we read into it, thank you for that share. Wow. One thing, we have a little bit of time. Maybe Aisha, you can look if anyone else wants to share something that was coming up in me, and because my mind a lot of times will go when I'm hearing things, was just the depths at which this is doTERRA's mission. It's their ultimate mission. Their first mission was I love purity as doTERRA. But they then moved their mission to, it's like purity and achieving the purity and potency in the oils that they need and want, at the same time doing this kind of work in the world of changing lives. You know, just like Corey Lindley said in the Kenya Rising video, doTERRA could work in big commercial, they could work with big commercial farms in developed nations. It's a lot easier, right? It's like, and get the purity that they want. They could control it. They could own the land. They could do that thing that some other companies do of trying to like control everything and farm it all, or like work with these big places. He's like, we could do that. We don't want to do that. We choose to go to less developed places, sometimes the worst developed places that need the most help, and grow and rise up and support these small scale farmers. You know, like just like we saw with the tea tree and the geranium, we lease them these starts. They lease them the land in Kenya. Their whole goal is starting out with leasing the starts, and they pay that off, and then they're allowing them to buy the land. They lease the land until they can then purchase it, and then they're landowners, these farmers. That's their ultimate goal, doTERRA and the farmers. And they're choosing to do this because they don't just want the best medicinal oils. They want the best medicinal oils at the same time doing the most in the world to help and change people's lives. That's what this company's mission is. And it's truly unprecedented. So that's what we should be sharing with everybody when we talk about, hey, do you want an oil for that? That was what was coming to me as I was hearing all these amazing stories. Do we have anyone else wanting to share?
Yeah, please just raise your hand if you want to share. Pluto wanted to say hi. And then I was going to bring Diane on for our last few minutes to share a really wonderful upcoming opportunity, but I just want to make sure that we have, okay, no more shares. Wonderful. Well, thank you everybody who's contributed to this call. It was so inspiring to hear all of the shares. And again, it's just such a beautiful, heartwarming topic. And, you know, just my last few words about this before I bring Diane on are, we are living in pretty overwhelming times. And I think it's easy to sit at home and feel like, what can I even do to make a difference? Because there's just so much to do, right? And can kind of go down your own wormhole of fear and, you know, like, what can I do to make a difference? But there is this power in us collectively to make a difference. And we are making that difference by being partnered with doTERRA. So on whatever level that is, whether you're just simply using the essential oils in your own home, that is helping to make a difference, or you're sharing these products with other people, and or there's opportunities to do your own healing hands projects. It's wonderful that we're doing all of this in these developing countries, but we all know there's a lot of work to do right in our own homes and in our own neighborhoods. So there's ways that you can go and partner with doTERRA. This is a whole nother call, and get funding for your own projects. And we actually, on our team, I believe that our team rates in the highest of all the teams in doTERRA for supporting Healing Hands projects. So yay team, we have done projects all over the United States and Mexico and in India, and I think in Hawaii. So, you know, you individually can go partner with a nonprofit organization that you feel inspired to support and make that impact in your own home. And that's what this company is really about. It's really about healing all of us, healing the planet, healing us individually. And we all play a part in this. So if you find yourself feeling like that depression, that overwhelm, remember that you are partnered with a company that is truly making a difference. So with that, we just have a few moments left. I'm going to share my screen, Diane, and bring up the slide. And we are really excited because Diane and Aaron, wait, hold on, are going to do this awesome monthly program for us. And I'm going to let Diane share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, thank you. You know, it's funny. I was thinking like, oh, this seems like an unlikely transition into this, but honestly, we have been given the gift of the earth, not to sound all corny. We have been given this gift to partner with a company that is doing such amazing things as we have been talking about today. Like these stories are impactful and powerful. But if our businesses don't grow, we're not going to have that kind of impact. We can't have that level of impact when we're not growing our businesses, or if the company is not growing, right? So I've been blessed this past year to really take, to receive and attract and work with some amazing new leaders, like one of them you just heard from today, Soraya. And the consistent conversation I had, because I was like, okay, like we're going. And the consistent conversation I had was, how do I onboard a new builder, right? Soraya, you asked me that question many times. And I was like, and to me, like, I don't know, I just was doing it, not, like, I was like, just like in my normal flow, but I realized that there is a beautiful basic foundation and system in place that we all really need to understand in order to help somebody in an effective, systematic way. Then they get, once they understand all of these pieces, like for instance, the pipes, then they get to do it in a way that, and Sandra will appreciate this, really aligns with who they are, their strengths, right? But if we don't have this foundation, it's really much more difficult to grow our business and to help others do the same. So I've been hearing about people launching, doing the, like when I was back in, I'm just kind of giving you a history of why this is so important. When I was in the Diamond Dash retreat back in September at Elise Chedevy's house in Utah, I was one of the first people to hear, for those of you who have not heard yet, about Bailey King's method, she called it prospecting with purpose. And one of the things that she did after she did the recruiting was that she launched them. She had a scheduled launch. So it's like you can recruit people, but then it's like, what do you do with them? Right? So you have to have a way, a funnel to put them into so that they're empowered to then do the same. Right? So I feel like, I was like, oh, we've been driving on 3 wheels. That's what keeps coming up in my mind. Like we have the best in all of doTERRA of oil education, because we have amazing people like Josie and Louise and Ariana and everybody here. And so we have incredible education, but in order to get the information and put it into implementation and support people, we need this foundation. Therefore, myself and Aaron got together and we recruited also Eliza Yoshida, who is a founder 2.0 Blue Diamond in the organization. So the 3 of us will be offering this hopefully monthly. My intention is monthly. And it will, so it's like when you bring in new members, and it doesn't matter if they're part-time sharers or full-time builders, they all need the same information. They all need to feel empowered this way. And so we will be presenting, it will be a hands-on. They will be doing the work when they are on the call. It's going to be so fun, so empowering, and your builders will be primed and ready for the following month to start building. So I'm so excited. There's a registration link here. If you have any questions, please let me know.
I love it, love it, love it. So excited. Well, we are at 11:02. So I just want to say the warmest thank you to everybody that presented today and everybody that joined us live, and hello to all of you watching the recording. I've been with doTERRA now, going 12 years? Crazy, right? But every time I hear these stories, it still touches me so deeply in my heart and my soul and brings tears to my eyes, and is just yet again that reminder, like, oh yes, this is important work that we are all doing and that we are all here making a difference. And I can say without a doubt, when your life changes, it has a ripple effect. It has this ripple effect that is beyond what you can even imagine. I promise you this. And you individually can really, truly impact this world and make a huge difference by simply sharing these amazing gifts that we have. Truly, the gifts of our essential oils, the gifts of this business. People need it. So I'm really excited that we're going to have a launch program and we can teach people how to do that effectively. So big shout out for the energy of Erin, Diane, and Eliza. It takes a lot of energy goes into these programs. So talk to your team and get people on the call. Yeah, Erin?
There's just a question, sorry to interrupt you. Daya, is the launch going to be recorded? Or will it be live only?
It will be recorded.
Yay.
But if you want to get the most out of it, I'm telling you, come live.
Come live. I'm going to come live, but I know Marilyn said she couldn't make it live. So it will be recorded.
It will be recorded, and it will be probably put up on the Hello Visionary website. So all the good things.
And then just a reminder, please come next week with your favorite self-care tips, because it's going to be a community source call. So we want to hear from all of you. We love learning from you. We share all the time. We want to hear your tips. So
that's going to be juicy, you guys. When we get together and we start sharing our tips, like stuff slips out that you have no.
I have to say, like, I can't agree more, Josie. Like, I feel like I'm always shocked, like, how people use their oils. I'm like, what?
I know.
Brilliant. I've been doing this for almost 10 years and I haven't even thought of that. Like, I've never heard that. I'm just like, so like, you don't have to be a ND, LAT, or DR, anything. Like, you are Dr. Mom or Dr. Person, because I'm just always so shocked about what I learned from others.
Wonderful. Well, have a very beautiful day, everyone. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.